am here. It's Friday evening. It's 6:30. Well, it's 6:29, but close enough, I'd say. And I'm very happy to be with you here tonight. So I was reading something on the side of the screen. I'm very happy to be with you this evening to work on some techniques for you to create some cards using last month's, which was May, stamp of the month, which was Little Stinkers. So I have a long list of short techniques I want to show you. And then I am going to put one card together because I don't have the actual card. I did tell you the story about that, I think. I don't have the actual card. I just have a picture of it. So I am going to put those pieces together for you. I just want you to see how they look once you've got them layered together. And yeah, I think that's it. There was one other thing. I wanted to tell you that we will be doing our next Stamp of the Month tutorial on Thursday, July 6th at 6:30. So yes, and that one will be for the June Stamp of the Month. And if you want to just hang on a second, I should have got that out to show you. One sec. I have it right here. And it's a beauty. It's called Botanical Shadows. So it's very pretty. Oh, okay. So I'm just a little out of breath. I was upstairs feeding the dogs. Steven's at work again. So who knows, right? It's a roll of the dice what we're going to get with the dogs if he's not here. All right. So what am I doing here? I don't need to look at Facebook, but I'm just going to double check. It says I'm live now. Okay, good. All right. Because I get all my comments here now on Restream. So the only thing is that they're sort of over my shoulder once I go over here. Hey, Chris. So, Chris, I was just saying that when you leave your comments, I won't probably see them right away because I'm going to sit at my table over here. And that means that I'm sort of looking over my shoulder to see the comments. I haven't quite figured out how to fix that yet. So anyways, I'm going to switch cameras right now. And we're going to get started. How's my sound tonight, Chris? Is it good? I hope so. I had played around with it a little bit since last time because I was sounding very tinny in the last couple of videos, and I'm not quite sure why. So if you're joining us tonight live, oh good, excellent. If you're joining us tonight live, please chime in and let me know that you're here. And if you're joining from Facebook or if you're joining from YouTube, I'd love to know. All right, here are 3 of the cards. These are the 3 that I have, and then I have the picture of the 4th one. All right, and I did say the story of this already. I gave the card away, so so that's the 4th one. All right, so we're just going to dive right in here, and I'm going to start with this one. Okay, and for this one, you need a piece of white cardstock that is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And you're going to need your, oh, thanks, Chris. They are, aren't they? Okay, you're going to need your all-purpose mat or your blending mat, some sort of non-stick surface. You're going to need, this is the stencil from the Dreammaker set with the squares. That's the one I'm using, but you can actually use pretty much any pattern you like. I just really liked that, the square. I'm using periwinkle ink. Periwinkle ink kind of has a ring to it, doesn't it? And I'm using a blending brush. And I'm going to not bother with my tape tonight because I'm using my blending mat, which is silicone, and everything sort of sticks to it. And I forgot to pull my camera out. Hang on a sec here. Oh, so much better. All right, so I'm just going to grab the lid off of this. If you do not have a blending brush, have no fear. You can use one of these babies. However, I would recommend that if you're going to use your mini blending tool, that you use one of the domed foams. All right, the flat ones are nice and they do work well. It's just that you increase your chances of getting those little swirly marks. So the domed ones are much better for that. All right, here we go. So I've got this. My card is straight. My stencil is at a slight angle. It doesn't matter which direction. I don't want to fill the whole space. I want to focus all of my attention in here, and then we're just going to get just a little light shading of periwinkle around the edges. All right, so I'm starting with my blending. And remember, when you're using your blending brushes, you want to go back and forth, not pouncing. Okay, and then I'm just tapping off a little bit. Now this is a very light color, so you probably will have to do a couple of coats for sure. Okay, and I'm just going to keep going round and around until I get the color I like. Okay, I can peek. Okay, oh yeah, that's very nice. Very nice. So what's everybody doing this weekend? I have a card buffet tomorrow for Dream Maker. That's what I'm doing Saturday. Sunday, I'm not quite sure what, I think I'm going to the pet store and I'm washing a dog. So yeah, that's my thrilling Saturday or Sunday. And if the weather's nice, then I'll probably take the dogs for a walk because I think Stephen works on Sunday. Okay, so I'm just, I'm done in the center. I like this effect. And so I was just very lightly, no new ink, just going over the outside, just to give it a dusting. And that is how that looks. Garage sales. Oh, nice. So you're all going to go together? All right. This, I love this. Now, the thing is, I've got it going a little higher than up here than here. So I think what I want to do is turn it around. And I'm going to go have the more close down to the edge on the bottom. Okay, so that is it for your blending. Where did I put the lid? It's just one thing after another. Okay, I don't know where I put the lid. We're going to go over there for now. It's probably right in front of me. Well, that's just, oh, there it is. Not quite right in front of me, but great deals. Oh, yeah. You know, I remember when I switched to teaching elementary school and I needed a lot of toys. And that's what I did. I went to garage sales. I picked up some great buys. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my doodling. Now I'm using my 0.05, which is a bit thicker. You can use a narrower one if you like, but I really like this thickness. It's just, it's a little thicker, but not too bad. Okay, I'm just going to pull that down. Take this off because I'm done with that. All right, so on this one, okay, I did, don't laugh, I did a double doodle. Can you see it? All right, and I'm just going to show you how I make that happen. Okay, I'm going to start my pen, make sure it's working properly. That's my list. And then I'm starting up here, and I'm purposely making the line irregular. And then I'm just going around the corner, and I'm repeating the same thing. And I'm purposely making the line sort of a little bit on the wavy side. And you'll see why in a minute here. So I just go around all four sides once. All right. So then I'm going to start back at the beginning and I'm going to draw another line, but I'm going to keep crossing back and forth over the first line. So, whoops, so here we go. Trying to hold the pen at a little angle so you can see better. Okay, so I'm just going back and forth. There is no right or wrong way to do this, trust me. However it works out is going to be great. Okay, whoops, that was sort of a weird one. Not that there's any like normal doodles, but there are quite a few different types of doodles that you can do around the outside edge of your work. This one I like because there really is no mistake. However it comes out is perfect. Okay. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you, that was it, because everything else on here, I know you're going to do just great on. So the I Smell a Birthday, I'm going to talk about that and the skunk in just a minute. I stamped the 3 dragonflies with periwinkle ink, and then I went over with the mist shimmer brush. And I just used the shimmer brush, get a pointer here. I just used the shimmer brush on the bodies, not on the wings. All right, and I popped up both the sentiment and the skunk. And then just for a little bit of a break in all the black and white, I gave him just a little pink ear. You can see there, I just used my tri-blend marker. I used bright pink blend, not the shades. I used the lightest color, and I just dotted it in his ear. And that's it. Okay, you have all of the rest of the measurements. We've got all the measurements on the supply list. Okay, so that is that. Now what I want to talk to you about, I'm just going to keep track here. Okay, I did that, and I did that. Okay, the skunks. I want to talk about the skunks for a minute and your stamping. All right, so I pre-stamped these. All right, and I want to talk to you about this ink. Okay, and I'm not sure why that is backwards. So just hang on a minute, let me check. Okay, I think I had this same problem before. So just hang on, let me video. Okay, let's see if that's better. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, I'm not sure why it's doing that, but I will find out for next time. Okay, this is VersaFine pigment ink for fine details, and it's in the Onyx Black. So whenever I want a really, really deep black, all right, because we know there are different blacks, this is the ink that I go to. Now, because there's so much black on these skunks, it was pretty much in my mind a must that I used this type of ink. Now, if you had a black pigment, you could also use that. I would not, however, use Intense Black or Memento because they are not real super deep blacks. All right, they're on the lighter side. So I want to show you how to make these really great impressions happen. First thing you have to, it's normal for you? Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of weird. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know, because it's on my screen where I keep track of things. It's backwards. It's kind of weird. All right, so I've got a piece of the White Daisy cardstock, and you have to stamp on a mat. This is my foam mat, the back of my Versamat. If you don't have a Versamat, you can use one of Close to My Heart's foamies, of which I have a million of, and don't have any on my table because I use this most of the time. Just hang on here. It looks like this. It comes in every single stamp set. You get one like this. You even get them in these little stamp sets. All right, so you have to have a foam. That's number one. Okay, next, I'm going to do the little girl that has the flowers in her hair. these stamps have been very well used because I used them for a make and take at my Canmore crop a couple weeks ago. All right, so I'm really seasoning this. Even though it's been used a lot, I want to just give it one extra go over with the seasoning. And now I'm going to grab my VersaFine ink. And one of the things that you can do to get better coverage with your ink is to put the block down and put your ink on it this way, rather than having your ink sitting on the table and pouncing your stamp on top. You get better coverage and you can see better what you're doing as well if you put your stamp down on the table and then add your ink like this. Now the other thing you can do is use a stamp positioner, and then you're in a position, ha ha ha, pun intended, to stamp it more than once if you don't get your desired outcome. Okay, now you're going to check. You want to see that you got a nice, smooth, and even layer of ink on there. All right, and now I'm standing up. That's kind of important too. And I'm placing this down onto my paper. And then I'm going to give it nice, even pressure. And I'm going to just let it sit there. This is probably the most important time to give your ink a chance to transfer from the stamp pad or from the stamp to the paper. All right, and because there's such a huge expanse of ink here, all right, it's just really important. That's kind of weird because I see it backwards and you don't. Okay, I'm really taking my time here. Okay, I'm just giving it some nice pressure there. Now, if something happens and you miss just like a little piece, it's not quite as black as you want it to be, there is a way to fix that. Okay, but, oh, I see there's one tiny little spot right by her eye. Okay, right there. Okay, but other than that, I really like this. It turned out great. So I'm going to show you what I do. So you can use your black journaling pen. You can use a black Sharpie. You can use your Tri-Blend True Black marker, which I think it's in a basket somewhere for tomorrow. And all you have to do, I'm going to use this journaling pen because it's a pretty small area. Okay, I'm just going to let you have a closer look here. Okay, I'm just in a circular motion like you do when you're using your alcohol markers. I'm just very lightly going over the spot that isn't like completely blacked out. Okay, and much better. Alrighty, so there's some tips for you for inking up when you have a lot of space for your ink to go over, and if you are using a lot of black ink, this is the ink for you, VersaFine. All right, VersaFine Onyx Black. Okay, that is that. Back to my list. I don't want to miss anything. We stamped a skunk. Okay, watercolor back. Oh, okay. All right. So next, I want to talk to you about the card that I watercolored. And that is this one. Well, I guess we should move the camera back out a bit. Okay, so this whole rectangular background is watercolored, and this whole front of the card, the whole card front, is actually a piece of watercolor paper. All right, so this is it here. And you can see that this is the side that has quite a bit of tooth to it. And then this is the smoother side. Well, for this today, I actually want to use the side that has a bit of tooth to it. All right, and I'm going to be using my 1-inch masking tape, and I'm going to mask this off. And I'm just going to put one, whoops, you see that's why I wanted to start with one right there. Okay, so now I have lined this up on a line, and I can see here how far in I'm going. And I want to go in 1/2 inch all the way around with my tape. So every line is 1/4 inch. So I'm going in, just see if I can move that, there we go. So I'm going to go in 2 here. And I'm just going to place my masking tape down, and I'm going to look up at the top, and I'm going to put it on the same line up at the top. And that way I know I've got it nice and straight. And then I'm just really burnishing it because I don't want any water to, or paint to get underneath that. And then I'm going to grab another piece, and I'm going to do the same thing along the bottom here. And I'm going to go in 1/2 inch. All right, so this tape is 1 inch wide, and I'm going in 1/2 inch. Okay, so I want it up there. I hope my head's not in the shot. Just never know, right? At least you don't have to worry about roots, my roots, because I don't get roots anymore. All right, a little bit more. And then I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. So this is my starting line. So I'm going over 2 to get it in 1/2 inch. Okay, no, that's not 2, sorry. 1, 2, that's 2 right there. All right, and then I want the same line up here. I love these Versamats just for this reason. It's so easy to line things up. Okay, and then I'm going to add, now I should have just paid attention and done that at 1/2 inch, but, well, I didn't. So I want to go to there and to there. Okay, I can't see it very well. I'm just going to turn it around here. That's what happens when you wear not transition, what are they called? Progressives, that's it. Okay, so there's the edge of the card, so I want that line, which is 2 down from the dark one. Okay, so I almost had it when I put the first, I put that piece there just to hold it in place, so it didn't jump around. Okay, so doing it this way, taking your time with your prep, okay, you will not be sorry. It's just like anything else. The prep is really the most important part of all of this. Okay, and I'm just giving it an extra burnish. Okay, now I have my watercolor paints and I have a wash brush. Okay, so these brushes are designed to put a lot of paint and water down in a very short amount of time. So they're very thin this way and they're very wide going this way. And they have fairly long bristles as well. Okay, so I'm going to just grab my, I didn't bring a thing of water over, but that is going to be fine because what I'm going to do is just really, really saturate this with water. Now you can see here that I've used a very nice light blue about 2/3 of the way down. Then I stopped with the blue and then I carried on with a really nice light green for the grass. So that's what I'm going to do over here. All right, and I know this is off your screen there, so I'll put it over here. And I'm going to grab my water again. Okay, and if you have your Close to My Heart watercolor paints marked, I'm using number 21. And I want to get quite a bit of paint onto my brush. Okay, and I'm just going to test it. Okay, I think I need more. Yep. I need more. I need more. And more in here. Okay, and I'm just swirling it around. Okay, and then I'm just going to start adding that blue color. Okay, and I'm going about 2/3 of the way down. Now, if you want more color, no problem. You just go ahead and go back and add more paint to your brush. I just want to get that. Oh, so I dropped another one on there. Not quite sure where that came from, except I'm making a mess with it. Okay, well, I think we'll be all right because there's a lot goes in front of this. Now you'll notice that I'm only going in this back and forth motion. I'm not dragging the brush like this at all. I'm just going across. So you can go back and forth if you want. Oh, there, I got it off. Okay, good. I have no idea what that was, but I do know I want to add just a little bit more blue. So you probably can't see off of the camera, but I'm just spraying the water onto the little color disc that I want to use. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to spray my brush. This is how I clean without leaving my workstation. Okay, and I just make sure that I'm not getting any of that blue on my cloth. Oops, I don't want to use that one. I don't know where my other one is. Okay, certainly don't want black. Okay, and so now I'm going to grab green, and I'm using number 28. For this, I'm going to just give this cardstock just another squirt of water. And then I'm going to really load my brush up with the green. Now you can do this dry onto the paper, where you only wet the paint and your brush, and then you add it onto the dry watercolor paper. But you're going to get a streakier finish. All right, and I like adding your water first because it really smooths everything out, and the paint that you add just sort of floats around on it. And I really like that effect. So that green is very bright. So that's it. I'm very happy with that end result. Okay, so now all you have to do is just leave this dry. You can hurry it along a bit with your heat tool, but I'm not really in a hurry. I'm not going to be doing anything else with this. So I'm just going to set this to the side to dry. Oh, look at this. I get water everywhere. Yeah, it can dress me up, but you can't take me anywhere. All right, so I'm just moving this to the side and we'll let it dry. Okay, get rid of that. Alrighty, so now I just want to talk to you for a minute about these little onesies. Aren't they cute? I'm going to show you the stamp set that I got them from. All right, it's this one right here. It's called Nursery Days. And you know, I'm not sure if this one is actually still available or not. Excuse me, I forgot to check. It's Z3766, but this onesie just kills me. It's so cute. All right, so all I did was use a small piece of the mix-in paper from the last catalog. So the, let's see, up to, what is this one that we're doing right now? To June? Oh, so no, this is current. I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyways, it's the same paper. All right. So I just did one with the dots facing up, and then I turned the paper over and I did one with this wash. Okay, and I just really like the colors, They're kind of neutral, so it doesn't, you know, they're not pink or blue, so they just work, right? And so because I wasn't stamping, I wanted these colors and the patterns to show through. I just decided that I was going to draw the little lines on. So what I did was I just took the picture here and I had my little onesie right beside it, and I just followed along with the picture. I just checked my my pen to make sure it was flowing properly. Okay, so it's pretty simple. And then from here, I just went down to the little join. So this is sort of the armpit here. And I just did a slightly curved line here. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here, just a slightly curved line. And that's just to delineate your sleeves. And then we're going to add a little bit of stitching over here. Another little bit over here. And all that's left is at the legs. So it does not have to be perfect. Remember, you're always looking just for an impression, not perfection. Okay, it's so cute. Just adorable. And then to attach them onto the card, after I had pulled the tape off, after it was completely dry, I just used a little bit of white string, some baker's twine, and I just knotted it on one end, held it down with a glue dot where I wanted it, and then I put another glue dot here and another glue dot here, and then I cut it and knotted it with another glue dot at the end. That's it. And then I just added these guys, and I did not pop them up, but I did layer the shoulders onto the string just to lift them up off the paper a little bit. That's it for that one. Oh, wait a minute. One more thing. Okay, you see the little bit of sun here? Okay, you're going to laugh, but I used the turtle. All right, and I just took some yellow cardstock, ran it through the thin cut, and then I just cut off the back of the shell. Cool, eh? So, and that's it. That's all there is to this card, and it's so cute. I just love it. Okay, so that's that one. Stinking cute, yep. All right, so did the watercolor background. All right, so I want to talk about this card. Now this card is actually very straightforward. Okay, there's probably nothing new here for you except, just want my ballerina ink. Nope, not ballerina, I want flamingo. Okay, and I have a small piece of, I had a small piece of pink, who knows where it is now, so I'm going to use one of these. Okay, and I'm just going to cut a little bit off here. I had a small piece ready to go, I don't know where I put it. Okay, I just want a little piece here. So on this card, I cut an oval. I gave you dimensions in the supply list for this oval. And then I cut another piece to mat my sentiment. I used the Dreammaker Ballerina cardstock, so it's got that nice watercolor finish to it. And here, instead of inking around the edges with a dauber, I went direct to paper. And how I do that is like this. I take the ink pad in one hand, the paper in the other. I sort of angle the top of the ink pad towards the paper, okay? And then I just rub along the edge like this. Okay, and you can keep going till you get your desired effect. And the more you angle the ink, the more you'll get onto the front part of your cardstock or your patterned paper or whatever you're inking. So I really like this finish. It's a lot neater and tidier than inking with a foam dauber, and it's darker. The only real difference is that you don't get the corners inked the way you do when you're using a foam dauber. Okay, and that's it. Now the only thing I would caution you is to make sure you're giving the edges time to dry before you actually touch them with your hand. All right, because I have gotten ink where I don't want it when I'm using this technique. Okay, so you can see that around the oval and then around the mat for the sentiment. Okay, and then for the coloring on this one, I just used pencil crayons. Very simple, no big deal. And then I added just a tiny little bit of a clear stickles into the center of the two flowers. You could use crystal or diamond. Glisten would also work really nice. And that's it. The last thing I want to talk to you about on this card is the sparkles. I don't know if you can tell in this light, but they're not clear. Well, they are clear, but they're colored. Okay, they're colored to match. And I just want to talk to you about that for a minute. Oh, man. Thank you. Sorry, I don't know, it's one of those nights where I have everything ready and then I don't. Okay, so I'm just going to close up. Now I've got just some regular sparkles here. And I'm going to use, you really do better with these if you have a darker color. I'm going to use the pale pink shades this time. And I'm going to use the darkest color. Whoops, sorry. The darkest color. All right, leave them on the carrier sheet while you're doing this. And just start in a circular motion at the top and just go around to the sides. Okay, it doesn't take much. Okay, and this does not work with water markers, like watercolor markers or, what's that other one? I can't remember. But it works terrific with alcohol markers. You can do this with a lot of different embellishments. You can even do it with, just hang on a minute. Okay, I know there's some. Okay, I have some silver glitter gems here. Doesn't work so great with gold because of course gold is a deeper color. Okay, but you can see how these look to start. And if you want, you can do exactly the same thing. You can just start coloring them. Start at the top, go in a circular motion, and then just work your way down to the side. Now, if you want an even deeper color, just let it dry for a second, and then go over it again. And that's the finished product. And it's got that, still got that sparkle coming through. It's so pretty and it's so easy. Just remember, alcohol markers. That's the ticket, alcohol markers. All right, so that's it for that card. Get those out of the way, get that out of the way. All right, now I want to talk about this little guy. So cute. All right, so what I did for this card was I used some of our irresistibles. All right, and I used for the sky some of this plaid, and I hope the light is good enough that you can see the UV coating on it in a plaid pattern. Now I actually ran out of the floral, so we're going to use the dots for the grass tonight. And these come in a pack, 12 by 12 pages, just like this. And you get 2 sheets each of 6 different designs. I just love this paper. I don't know why I don't use it more. I'm going to start using it more. So you also get this buffalo plaid. And this diagonal stripe. And you've seen the polka dots, you've seen the plaid. I can't, oh, wait a minute. I might be able to show you the floral. Just hang on. I bet I have a small piece of it in here. Yes, I do. There's the floral. It's just so pretty. And stars. Oh, I got this out. You can see the stars there. Alrighty. So we are going to transform. We are going to transform this paper. Yes, we are. Okay, I just need my blending mat back. You can use your all-purpose mat. It doesn't matter. As long as you've got some surface underneath you to take the extra ink and that you can wipe off afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to use Glacier and Avocado. Glacier, of course, for the sky, Avocado for the hill. Let's start with Glacier, and I'm using my blending brushes. Okay, same deal with these. And I wish I knew what I did with my other microfiber cloth. I'm going to have to use Kleenex. I'm sorry. Because I never keep paper towel in my studio anymore. And I don't know where my other microfiber cloth is. Okay, so here we go. All right, tap a little off. Okay, and then you are just going to go across the entire surface of your cardstock. And it does not have to be the same depth of color all the way across. And it can be as light or as dark as you want it. Okay, and once you've got what you like, you're going to take your microfiber cloth. Please don't use Kleenex. Do as I say, not as I do. And you're just going to rub across the front of it to get any of the extra ink off. As you can see, the UV coating, it resists. Hence the name, Irresistibles. How clever is that? Cool, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with the hill. Only this time I'm using Avocado. Okay, here we go. And it's just so much fun to watch this pattern emerge as you're working. Now again, it does not have to be like a very uniform color all the way across. Don't have to worry about that. Okay, and then you're just going to grab your cloth. Now the one thing I will caution you is that you not leave the ink to sit on there for too long. You can see how this Kleenex is leaving little bits. That's okay, we're done. All right, so that's how that one looks. Cool, right? Okay, very quick, very fast and easy way to add some real interest to your cards or your scrapbook layouts. Okay, now I'm working right on a card base for this card. So I'm just gonna, remember, mash your mountain. Okay, and this is going to be a landscape card. And the paper, I've cut it down to 5 1/4 across. This is 2 1/2. Okay, and the measurements are on my supply list on my website. This one is 5 1/4 across and 3 1/2 inches. All right, so this one is just going to get glued down. And you just want to make sure that you're leaving your margin around the outside. Okay, I didn't want to build this on a separate card front because the Irresistibles cardstock is quite heavy to start with. And if we had added another layer, it would have been too thick, especially for going in the mail. Okay, so now I'm taking my long scissors and I'm going to remember just where I'm at here. Okay, so I'm going to start my hill. Okay, and again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I'm just looking at that. You know, I think I need to cut just a little bit more off because the sentiment needs to be in the sky. Oh yes, perfect. And you know, you could even save that piece and use it for something else. Right, Chris? Okay. So now I'm just lining this up with the plaid Irresistibles, and I'm trying to get close to the same amount of space all the way around. Okay, and this is how it looks. Okay, so I just used my alcohol markers to color. I used, for the trunk, I used my Earth Brown blends. For her flowers, I used the bright pink blend. For the leaves, I used the Alpine Green blend. You could also use the dull green, but I just thought that this Alpine Green worked better with the avocado ink on the hill. Okay, and again, I added just a little dot of pink in their ears. And, oh, what was I going to say? I popped up the little girl skunk, but the trunk is glued right to the card. And there was something, oh, and then I wanted to show you this. Oh, there's the piece. See, I knew I had it. Okay, so I wanted to just show you, and I'm going to show you in a darker color because silver won't show up on the camera very well. I'll grab the right marker here. So I did around the edge of the sentiment with one of my Spectrum Noir metallic paint markers, and I used the 4mm nib. All right, so that's this really broad, wide one. Okay, and I'm using the gold only because it will show up better and you can see better what I'm doing. So I just took the flat edge and I laid it against the cardstock, and sort of the way I did with the direct paper with the ink pad. Okay, I just pull it along the edge. Okay, and I just keep angling it closer and closer to the front until I get the thickness that I want. And that's it. And it's so beautiful. And it just really just sets things off so nicely. I did a lot of this on my Christmas cards because it's so easy and you don't have to add another thickness of cardstock, which is great for mailing, right? Okay, I just want to finish this one side. I think I have to add more ink or paint. All right. These markers are so easy to work with. I love them all. All right, so hopefully you can see along the edge, these two edges here. It's so easy. Okay, so that is that. And now, oh, not anymore. Okay, so we did the blending on the Irresistibles. We did the inking direct to paper. We did the color sparkles. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, because it's a stamp of the month, there is no coordinating thin cuts ever with these. So you have to fussy cut. You have no choice. All right, and I just want to talk to you for a minute about that, because some people feel a little bit intimidated when they're doing fussy cutting. Now, I do have these type of small scissors for my fussy cutting, just because I have arthritis in my hands, and these ones are easier on my hands than the regular type of scissors. Don't use these. Trust me. If you are new to fussy cutting, please do not use these. These are amazing scissors, but they have their place, all right? And it's definitely not for fussy cutting. Okay, so here is the breakdown for fussy cutting. All right, so I always like to leave just a little white around the edges, okay? And it's very important to move the paper. Don't try and move your scissors. Keep your scissors in place. Move your paper. Back off if you have to go around a really tight corner. But you want to just keep going around. And you're watching where your scissors are going. Okay, not where they are or where they've been. And that sort of sounds like, well, duh. But it's sort of not normal. All right, you want to watch where the scissors are actually cutting, but no, you aren't going to get a good cut if you do that. You want to watch where they're going. All right, now I'm going to go here. I'm going to show you another thing I do. Okay, now you see I've got a lot of little ins and outs here, so I'm just going to get rid of this extra cardstock. All right, because it just gets in the way. All right, so now I'm going to go back, and I'm not going to go all the way in. Okay, I'm just going to give the impression again of the ins and outs of those leaves. Oops. Okay, and so you don't have to cut down to every single detail. Okay, and sometimes you might want to, depending on the kind of card you're doing or what you're doing on your scrapbook layout. But for something like this, you do not have to do that. Okay, and I'm just going to get around this leaf, and then I want to show you something else, and then I think I'm done. All right, so I'm just going to come around the corner here. All right, so now I'm here, and I'm, oops, I cut too far in. You see that? Don't panic. Don't throw it away. Don't start over. Just pull your scissors back. Okay, back to where they should have been, which would be right here. I hope you can see that. And then just keep cutting. Okay, and look at that. Can you see where I went in too far? Nope, you can't. And by the time you get it glued down on your paper and you've got color on it and everything, it's even, like, it's impossible to tell. All right, so I'm going to, I think, I'm just looking at my, that was the last thing. Okay, I'm just going to switch back here to me. All right, so I hope that you picked up a couple of tricks or techniques that you hadn't seen before or that you had forgotten about. And I hope that you will try some of them. And if you do, please leave a picture in the comments, because we would love, love, love to see it. And let me know what your favorite card was. And because I really would like to know that too. All right, so as I said at the beginning, our next Stamp of the Month technique tutorial is going to be on Thursday, July 6th, and that will be for the June Stamp of the Month, which is the Botanical Shadows. It's just gorgeous. The last paper. Do you mean the Irresistibles, Chris? Is that the one you mean? Because if you do, oh, you got to get it out and you got to use it because it is just so much fun. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, leave it in the comments, or you can email me to info@surescrapsalot.com anytime. I'm always here to answer all of your questions. Thank you so much for joining me and sticking with me, and I hope you have a great weekend, and we will be talking to you very, very soon.